Hey everybody, it's your boy String Bang Mountain Bushcrafters Alliance, obviously. Now most of you know that I spent nearly 4 months alone in Appalachia off-grid. Absolutely a life-changing experience. Things I thought I knew, no, I didn't know. Nevertheless, I've had a lot of questions, a lot of comments, and I'm trying to get to everybody as I can. I'm still trying to catch up. But we're going to talk about equipment that I used on the daily. Things that I carried with me, things I had in my side-by-side, and equipment that I had at the trap shed that helped me to go farther and stay longer in the Appalachian Mountains. And we're going to touch on some things that you might want to stay away from should you decide to go off-grid for a season. So stick around, stay with me, and let's get this thing started, children. And for our first EDC off-grid, Firearm. Now when you say Firearm, that's multiple videos all its own. People's got opinions, and people's had situations, and people's had guns to fail and whatnot. But my advice to you is to carry a reputable, dependable firearm of adequate caliber. Again, name brand is your preference. We're not doing any promotional videos. I know what I carry. Mine is a reputable, dependable firearm. I've carried it for about 5 or 6 years, and I had it on me at all times off-grid. In my state, you can carry concealed without a permit. We do the constitutional carry. My advice to you is to check your laws in your area and determine what you can carry and what you should have. Some people prefer a revolver over an automatic. I prefer the automatic slim because of the weight, because I do a lot of hiking on the trap line and a lot of work around the trap shed. So the number one EDC for off-grid for me was Firearm on me at all times. Aside from a firearm, you need a good knife. A good knife. Now, if you're in a survival, we're not talking about a survival situation. A survival situation, pretty much anything will do if that's all you have in a survival situation. You can cut rope with glass. You can cut rope with a can, a soup can. But you need, if you're off-grid, you need a good knife. One that is multifunctional, that you can start a fire with that knife, that you can flesh or skin, obtain food with that knife. But you need a good quality knife on your side. Okay? We're talking about being off-grid, and it don't only apply to being off-grid. That's hunting, fishing, trapping, scouting. You need a multifunctional knife, and that's what this is. It's got a bow drill divot, and as you can see, I've used it. So a good knife. Number 2. Now keep in mind, these are things that I kept on me at all times. At all times. And some of these items I didn't keep on me until I saw the necessity for them. That falls back to when you think you know and you don't know, it's best to say I don't know. But along with your firearm, a dependable firearm, and your multifunctional knife, You want to be able to start a fire. For whatever reason. And I'll give you an example. There was a few days there it was minus temperatures. And it got as cold as minus 24 with the wind chill factor. And here in Appalachia, that's not common. So I go down to the main gate and the locks are froze. So I get the lighter out of my fire starting kit, which is in the side-by-side. Couldn't get it to strike, couldn't get the light. And you're in that cold temperatures, you can't hardly strike a lighter anyway if you stay out there any amount of time. And I was trapping and I was doing water sets. So compound that multiple times, you're not going to strike a lighter. No, you're not going to do it. So a ferrocerium rod, this is not a flint and steel. A lot of people misconstrue this as a flint and steel. This is not flint and steel. That's a ferrocerium rod, a ferro rod. My advice to you, along with your lighter, because that's your first go-to, you know it is, always have a backup plan. Because this will fail you. At some point or another, whether it run out, whether you're too cold to strike it, whether it's wet, this will fail you. We're not talking about a survival situation. In a survival situation without fluid, I could still start a fire with this. Done it many times. But you want a ferro rod on your person. A small one, as long as it will do the job. And as you can tell, this absolutely has had multiple strikes and it'll last for years and years. Fire is number 3 on your person, your EDC. Right on down the list, we're traveling. Number 4. Multitool. There's hundreds of thousands of multi-tools out there claiming to do a whole lot of things. We're not going to give name brands out. This is not a promotional video. Get you a dependable multi-tool. One that has multi-functions within that multi-tool. Keep a multi-tool on you at all times, whether it's on your hip, whether it's in your pocket, whether if it's got a belt clip on it. Keep a multi-tool on you at all times. This one, I always put reflective tape. If you'll notice, I'm a reflective tape fanatic. People say, dude, that looks so cheesy. I'm off grid. If you lose a loaded mag, that's a big deal. If you lose a light or a knife, that's a big deal out there. Convenience is not an option out there. Comfort is. There's a big difference between convenient and comfort. So yeah, the multi-tool. If you don't have one, my advice to you is to get one. Get one that you can depend on. Yeah, multi-tool. Number 4. Number 5, communication. You're out there off grid. You've got to have a way to contact someone other than the squirrels and the rabbits and the deer. Anything can happen. Now, you don't want to be an overthinker, but you want to use common sense. You've got to have some form of communication. It depends upon you and your wallet and your budget what you want to do. Whether it's a citizen band, a CB, or two-way. I went with a two-way. I've got a citizen band, a CB, but two-way was my form of emergency communication. Had a neighbor down off the mountain. He had a two-way, and we talked often. And my wife had a two-way. When she would come to the main gate, that was our form of communication. We're not going to talk about products and what's the best and what's worst, what's the range and all this. You could have one that has a range of 35, 40 miles. If it's snowing, the winds are blowing, and you've got obstacles in your way, that signal, I don't care if it's 40-mile range, that signal's going to be cut nearly completely off. So, but you've got to have a form of communication. You don't want to overthink. You're out there by yourself. Common sense. A form of communication. That's number 5. And I went with a two-way. Last but not least, for my EDC off-grid, the watch. I'm old school. I'm Gen X. But the truth of it is, one of my greatest obstacles being off grid was not water, was not catching food to eat, wasn't bathing. It was charging. People suggested, oh, you should have had a generator. Bare bones, off grid, I had no generator. You should invest in some solar panels. Budgeted, impossible. Besides, during the winter months where I was, very little sunlight. A lot of rain, but very little sunlight. So, turning your phone off and on, because you have to either take your medications, or you have to meet someone for supply drops, or you have to meet someone about catching some predators, or whatever the case may be. My phone stayed off a whole lot, unless I was making a video or taking pictures or going across the ridge to send emails or try to catch a roaming signal. So I didn't want to waste battery power by looking at the time. So the smart thing to do is invest in a good watch. Alarms for my medications, dates and times of certain events take place, and it's all logged right there. Yeah. 4 notebooks full. And when you're in that situation, you don't want to waste battery power just to see what time it is. Just to see where you need to be, because you are still on a routine. And it took me the better part of 3 weeks, maybe a month, to get a routine down off grid. Began to doubt that I was going to get a routine. There's a lot of adjustment there. But once I got the routine, I tried my very best to stay with it. Sometimes it didn't work out. Nature or whatever it might be. But I did try to stay on the routine that I had created, or that had created me. So using the phone, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. You can ask, like I said, you could ask anybody at any given time what time it is. And most likely, they'll pull out their phone and tell you. So, yeah, that's number 6. So, there you have it, folks. The 6 most important things I had on me at all times, the whole time I was off grid, that gave me the confidence to go farther and stay longer. Now, if you're talking about EDC, obviously, everyday carry, you're not talking about things you have stored away in drawers at home or in your ATV, your vehicle, or even your shine shed. But what you carry depends upon you. What you have around your waist. I used to wear a neck knife. Since I grew the beard, I no longer wear a neck knife, obviously. But things you have in your pockets, things you have on your wrists, whether it be a watch or a paracord bracelet, you can accessorize. You can add to or take away. It really depends upon you. But those are the things that I used daily. Truth. Nevertheless, it's your boy String Bean. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't you go down in the comments below and make a list of your EDC. Things that you carry every day. And if you got any questions, put them down there as well. Nevertheless, as always, go farther, stay longer. Hey, I appreciate you watching. We got work to do. Next week, I'm going to have a video out of what I had in the side-by-side the whole time. Not everything, of course, because there was a lot of gear. But I'm talking about things that I depended on to get me through being off-grid in Appalachia. Yeah, I believe I'll do that too. As always, go farther, stay longer. I'll catch you out there somewhere. Thanks for watching.